Hey, welcome back to Whiskey Wins with me, Stuart. Today we're doing a live stream format because there's fruit flies. Louise is a little under the weather, my fiance, and this week I've not really had time to record a video and edit it. So I decided that this fruit fly is going to get some long roll. I decided I would do a live stream for a recent Springbank tasting pack that I purchased. I can't remember when I purchased it, a couple of months ago, but it was like £50, and I think it was £5 delivery. I don't believe a lot of people will be watching it this time because it's 1:45 in the afternoon, so people are probably either working or doing better things on a Friday afternoon. But anyway, I thought this would be a good way to spend my afternoon. So I quite like the new pack that it comes in. This is, well, new from what I've seen. Normally it's just a pack with not much else, but it's actually got like a map of Campbelltown on there that's pretty cool. And obviously all the bottles come in here as well. So hopefully that focuses. We've got a tasting card along with it, and all the drams, which is something they've started doing recently as well, is they've actually been putting cute little labels on them. See how well this focuses or not. But yeah, they've actually put, what's a better one to show? Probably the local barley. I don't know how well it'll focus, but come on, focus. There you go. So it shows like the little label of how the bottle would actually look like, a full-size bottle. But yeah, I thought I'd get down to these, try them, see what my thoughts are. There's one, the only reason I really bought this tasting pack, I believe I've tried the local barley. I've not tried the long row, and I'm pretty sure I've tried the heavily peated batch 12. But the main reason I purchased this pack was because of the Springbank 1998 vintage. I thought £50 was worth it just to try that. And obviously you get all these other drams that I haven't tried, such as the Hazelburn, the 8-year-old bourbon, and the long row 100 proof. So yeah, we'll get down to them. They're 2 CL samples. I've poured about 1 CL, so 10 ml. We'll nose them. I'm not going to go too in depth into notes. I just wanted to show my reaction on camera and see how it comes across. Anyway, I'm going to start with the Hazelburn because it's not peated, and then I'll probably go to. I really don't want to go right into the Springbank 1998 vintage, but I think I will. So the Hazelburn sherry, the local barley's bourbon and sherry, which looks like maybe 55, 45. I can't remember the makeup of it. It doesn't actually say. It just gives you a little bar graph. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it gives you a little bar graph trying to show you how much of it's bourbon, how much of it's sherry. I just read that this pack's actually came out in July. So I've had this for a little while, and I believe they've done a live stream, which I wasn't able to join. But anyway, yeah, the Hazelburn's Oloroso, so it's sherry. Springbank local barley's bourbon and sherry. The Kilkerran's purely bourbon. The 1998 vintage is sherry. The long row 100 proof looks about 80% bourbon and 20% Pinot Noir. And then the Kilkerran heavily peated about 90 or 95% bourbon and 10% or 5% sherry. So yeah, we'll get down to them individually, and we'll start with the Hazelburn, which I'm actually looking forward to. I've not had a lot of Hazelburn in my collection, but I have enjoyed the drams, the samples and stuff I have had. Yeah, it's quite subtle. It's also a little bit like cold. I don't know if that's just because of the house or I don't know. It's just, if I was to describe it in the nose, I'd say cold. Like maybe like a raspberry ice cream or something. These do have tasting notes on them as well. The nose for this says sweet nose of cinnamon toast, cocoa powder, cranberries and red currants. So yeah, I'm definitely getting raspberry. It's also a little bit funky, surprisingly. I don't always get a funky, kind of dirty smell to Hazelburn. I always feel like it's more refined, but there is a little bit of a funk there. The fruit flies go mad for peated whiskey. We actually use Ardbeg 5 Wee Beastie as a fly trap, which is shocking using a single malt whiskey. I'm downstairs as well, so I'll just make sure this camera's nice and focused. Jura might need out for a pee, he might bark. We're just going to have to go with the flow in this one. Like I said, a little bit off the cuff. Yeah, I don't know if that camera focused well, or is it just my eyes? Yeah, if I wasn't aware that this was Hazelburn, I might even guess that it's Springbank. I don't know if it's maybe the other glasses, but I feel like there's a bit of peat here. There obviously isn't. I hope I've not mixed them up, but it's definitely sweet in the nose. It's very sweet. The palate for this Hazelburn. It must be the sherry. Yeah, but it is quite dirty. Spent matches or something like that. The Jura's wanting out. This is a great live stream. I'm going to be like 2 seconds letting this dog out, and hopefully 2 seconds coming back. If he wants back in, he's just going to have to fend for himself. He'll have to be a wild dog. Oh, he's just barking. And now he wants back in. He's a little terror. God damn it. How disjointed can a live be? Mate, come here. It's a fantastic start to a live stream. Yeah, like I say, I think it's a bit dirty in the palate, possibly from the sherry. It's actually what we got here: fruity with blackberry and strawberry bubblegum notes. I'm not sure about bubblegum. I hope I've not mixed these up. I don't think I have. I did pour them right before I started, but knowing how this live stream started, I probably have mixed them up. But no, I feel like it's quite dirty. Also, possibly a touch sulfuric with the sherry. I'm actually going to just swig this out of the bottle. I think I have somehow managed to mix something up. It tastes different in the bottle. No, that's definitely peated. I think maybe it just tastes different in the glass. But yeah, I'm actually not enjoying it. All that for that. It's not my. I don't know. It feels like the sherry's maybe a bit too dominant on it. I mean, it's nice enough. I don't think I'd buy a bottle. Yeah, it's not bad, but I just don't think I would have a bottle. I am going to move on to the local barley next. So that was 48.2% ABV. I'll move on to the local barley next, which I believe I have reviewed on the channel. I'm almost certain I have. I'm pretty sure I have, and I'm pretty sure I gave it a whiskey bin. So we'll have that next. We'll then do the 98 vintage. Then we'll do the Kilkerrans, and we'll finish off the long row. So the local barley is 8-year-old, and it's 58.1% ABV. The Hazelburn's 8-year-old as well. It's actually quite a young lineup. The Kilkerran's 8, and the oldest one's the 1998 vintage. Whatever age that makes that, maybe 27 or something. If it was bottled in 2025, which it probably was. Yeah, this is how I remember it from the review. It was Aberdeen Whiskey Shop. They gave me a sample when I bought a full bottle or something. They gave me a sample of the local barley along with it, which was pretty cool of them. So we'll get down to this. What are their tasting notes? Nose is notes of cracked pepper, cigar box and sage on the nose introduced to this edition. Palate, there are notes of shortbread and salted caramel along with a herbal basil note. basil note. I would say it's herbaceous, but if you want to check out my full thoughts on it, I do have the review. I just didn't think it, and I still don't think it stands up to the other local barleys in the series. So it's neither here or there. Not a great dram for me compared to the other local barleys. However, it's still Springbank, still quintessentially Springbank there. So yeah, not phased. Wouldn't buy a bottle of Hazelburn, and I wouldn't buy a bottle of the local barley. So I'm kind of glad I didn't chase the local barley, because I think I've got 4 currently waiting to be opened, and usually I do yearn for the local barley because I quite like them. I always feel the local barley does add that different element to it, and you can tell the difference in some of them. But yeah, this one's just, it doesn't hit the mark for me. I'm still going to drink it though. Nothing goes to waste. All right, there's Jura barking again. Oh, better go get this. See who's been making all the noise. I won't show them. Well, there's no one here. It looks pretty empty, Jura, but for a replay. There you go. Right, you going back down? There was a delivery at the door, so he's a good guard dog. It does not wind me up at all. Jura, they're away. Right, come here. This is the worst live stream I've ever done. Come here. Next, we're going to go for the night. Right, come here. Right, enough. We're going to go for it. Should I just restart the live stream? Just pour everything again and restart. Right, Juno, they're away. I promise. They're away. Come here. Right. I'm going to say we're going to go for the 1998 vintage. What am I doing? So the 1998 vintage. Fully sherry. Knowing Springbank, it'll be Oloroso. The nose. Have I got enough in the glass? It's maybe I need more in the glass. I can't remember how much this bottle was. I think it was about 300, 400 pound or something, which doesn't seem too bad for a 27-year-old Springbank. But it might have been more. I can't actually remember. It's not got the prices on here. Yeah, this is just exquisite. It's just old Springbank. The kind of funky agricultural elements are a little lesser. They've been dampened a little, but they're still there. It's this sticky sweet. Oh, a little bit like, I'm actually getting a little bit of milk as well. It's 48.3% ABV. Maybe some kind of, I don't know, like a little bit fusty dunnage. There's varnished wood, varnished oak. Yeah. Oh, I can smell it for days. It's yeah, it just keeps going on. The official nose is medjool dates, blackberries, white chocolate, and a caramel kick off this fully sherry maturation. There is a bit of caramel there. I can't deny with that. I want to get to the palate. I want to see what this is like. I'm going to reset. Right. Oh, yeah, that's just good. There's just God. It's actually a little. There's like a little bit of kind of sea fish there or seafood that's but is it molasses? There's molasses for sure. That kind of sticky, but there's like a bit of a seafood element, a bit sea salt, briny, but it's not like fishy. Maybe like shellfish or something a more subtle seafood. I know I just said seafood, and seafood should be fishy, but it's more subtle, but also sweet. Tying it together, I'm trying to think like maybe something like prawns done in, I don't know, like a sticky, possibly like a sweet chili sauce or something like that. Like a dark sauce, maybe. I'm trying to think of like a soy, like dark soy, like teriyaki or something, like that kind of sticky umami, but also sweet and also seafood. And it's also just old. You can tell from the nose with the dunnage, but then on the palate you can tell it's old. I'm so lucky I get to try stuff like this. I mean, I did pay for it, but that's just fantastic. It is just lovely. It's yeah, the official tasting notes. There is a mustiness initially on the palate, which I would agree with. There's that kind of aged old element to it, as if it's been in someone's like loft for quite a while, with notes of shortbread, brandy butter, and cloves developing over time. I can see the brandy butter, possibly shortbread, but I feel like I'm getting more of a kind of cross between umami, sweet, teriyaki style stickiness with seafood. Yeah, that's what I'm getting, which is a bit of a contrast to what they're getting. It's a bit more down the kind of biscuity sweet route. Finish, notes of varnished wood, nutmeg, and crystallized ginger. Oh, that's a great note, crystallized ginger. There's the door going again. This is why I don't do live streams down here. When I record stuff, I can just cut it out. Right, Jura. Right, here I'm coming. Here I'm coming. Right. Calm your beans. Calm down. Look, just the delivery. Look. Oh, just the delivery. Calm your beans. Calm your beans. Yeah, this is why I normally do not do live streams where Jura is. So anyway, this 1998, the finish is just, I don't think I've ever had crystallized ginger, but it is an interesting tasting note. Nutmeg I can see in the finish, but there's something else in the finish that I can't put my hand on, my finger on. It's quite a sweet, it's a sweet taste. I don't know, maybe like nectarine or something, like not fully orange, but that type of fruit, something like that. Just on the finish, like you've just eaten a nectarine or a blood orange or something like that, and it's that left that kind of taste in your mouth, almost artificial as well in the finish. This orange scent. I see Donner passes here. Good morning, Stuart. 6 a.m. here in California, so time for cold brew coffee. Yeah, I didn't expect many people to be tuning into this because one, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon for me, and obviously 6 a.m. for you. But I'm just going through the recently bought a tasting pack from Springbank, and hopefully this kind of focuses a little, but it's not too great. But we've got Hazelburn Oloroso 8-year-old, Springbank Local Barley 8-year-old, Kilkerran 8-year-old bourbon, Springbank 1998 vintage, which I believe is 27-year-old, Long Row 100 proof, and Kilkerran heavily peated. So I'm currently actually on the 1998 vintage. I started with the Hazelburn, then went to the Springbank local barley, and then to the 1998 vintage. And it's just, yeah, it's superb. It's everything you would expect from an old Springbank. A little dampened for the agricultural, the funkiness is a little dampened, but for what it lacks in that area, it makes up for in all these other fantastic. It's honestly so good. And I've also got fruit flies kicking about. There's one in the long row. They love peated whiskey. I'm also doing it in my the normal place where I record. So I've got Jura barking, deliveries coming, and this is quite off the cuff. But we're going to move on to, I think we're going to go for Kilkerran heavily peated first, and then we'll go to the bourbon. You're not getting out. You're just going to bark. So we'll go for the heavily peated first. I'm pretty sure I've tried batch 12. I'm pretty sure I have. Definitely tried batch 11, and I'm almost certain I've tried batch 12. Yeah. Now my favourite batch is still batch 1. I've tried batch 2, batch 3, batch 4. I think I stopped at batch 4. I've had 6, 11, and then 12. Just because I think they hit the nail on the head with batch 1. And this one's 11 was very close to batch 1, I felt, in essence. And this is pretty close as well. I don't know what they're going for, if they're going to end up with a Kilkerran core release, or if they're just leaving the heavily peated as a core release, kind of batch release. But this is shortbread on the nose, butter, definitely. The peat isn't too, I mean, it's heavily peated, but I don't know if it's because it's too peated that it's not really showing up in the nose. The legs are beautiful. Like I say, the camera's not going to zoom, but we've got an 8 doors distillery glass there. You can see the legs, I hope, on that. As I said, the camera, the streaming quality might not be the best, but there we go. Yeah, their nose is notes of butterscotch, caramel, rye bread, and damp, earthy peat. I can't quite get the peat on the nose, but I can totally agree with the butterscotch. The palate. Aye, that's good. Yeah, it's maybe not as, I remember batch 1 being like really forward and kind of popcorn, like butter melted over popcorn, like really just creamy. This has got a little bit of a bitter element to it, more aligned with kind of like buttered toast rather than buttered popcorn, but the butter creaminess is still very much there, but it's more got those kind of savoury elements that come in the form of like burnt toast or whatever. Yeah, enjoyable. I've still got one of the batches. I think it might be batch 4. It's still very much full. I think it's about halfway full or something like that. So I've kind of struggled to get through that. I'm not buying the heavily peated anymore because, like I say, I feel like number 1 was just the best, and you need to quit while you're ahead. And there's also, I'm happy to experience it this way or experience it at festivals. That's not saying that the heavily peated are always like pretty much spot on. They're always good. The palate, brandy snaps and Parma violets. Oof, I did not get Parma violets at all. Interestingly though, followed by more savoury and oily characteristics like ham. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the word. Is it Iberico or Iberico? That kind of, I'm sure it's like that kind of dried aged ham. I can kind of understand the ham aspect, but I would say more toast. I'd definitely say it's more savoury than sweet. I don't agree with the Parma violets, but I would say a buttery toast, but really enjoyable. Still a good dram, very solid, especially for the price. Pretty sure these retail, these heavily peated. I remember the first one. I'm sure batch 1 was like £35 or £40. They're maybe about £50 now. are still about £40 to £50, which I don't think is a bad price. And they're great. I've not had a bad one, let's say, or I've not tried a bad one. The finish, a gentle finish with lemon sherbet, mint, and puff candy. I don't think that's the same whiskey. Lemon sherbet, maybe. I can see the mint, can't see the lemon sherbet, and can't see puff candy. It's definitely a strong finish, and I get a lot of peat. I would say the earthy peat that they are saying in the nose, I'd say I'm getting that in the palate. So that was the heavily peated. I will rate these as well and order a favourite. I think you know that the 1998 is going to be pretty much top, unless the Kilkerran 8 or the long roll blow my socks off. We never know. We'll go for the Kilkerran 8-year-old. Like I say, I quite like the fact that they've there we go, focus. The fact that they've kind of made the labels look like the full bottles, because they used to just stick if I could show you, they used to just stick like a label on it, number it, and then you just had to decipher it yourself, or correlate it to the sheet. This is a glass from Gabby and Tony's wedding. So yeah, this was 11th of July. I couldn't make it, unfortunately, but happy anniversary when that was. And pretty sick idea with the glasses. And actually, like, a really cool, I like the initials. And come on, focus. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, let's see what this Bourbon 8 is like. I'm actually really looking forward to this. Oh God, yeah. Love Springbank. Anything but prices in the US are not. Springbank 10, Hazelburn 10, and Kilkerran 12 are $120 US. So that's what I go for these days. Yeah, I was just saying, like, at the start of this, when I was trying the 1998, just how lucky I am that, obviously being in the UK, being in Scotland, that I can kind of get access to these drams. This was about £50 or £55 for the set, which I think is pretty reasonable, considering you're getting a 27-year-old Springbank. I'm sure it's 27-year-old. No, yeah, it must be 27-year-old. Anyway, I think the price is good, and I couldn't imagine. I would struggle being in a different country with a limited access to Springbank, because they are almost everything's good, and even their whiskies that I don't necessarily get on with, they're still not bad. They're not. I think there's only maybe one bad Springbank that I've had that I just didn't enjoy. But one out of how many? Yeah, this takes me back to, I don't know why, the heavily peated shoot as well, but this takes me back to just being at the warehouse, the Kilkerran warehouse, when the Tabes guys and I visited back in August last year, 2024. Just that smell, it's just a dirty, it's just a dirty little number. It's dunnage. I've got a picture of us going through the warehouse, or not of us, but a picture in the warehouse, and there's like this oozing mold, like it was crusty, and it's obviously somehow broke off, and you can just see the inside of it, and it's kind of wet, moist. I know a lot of people don't like that word, but this just reminds me of that, just that kind of dirty dunnage warehouse. Yeah, it's actually, I do get a little bit of green apples for some reason. I know that's almost a contradiction between dirtiness, funkiness, and then green apples, which it's warming. Oh, it's just, I should really think of more notes, but I'm just enjoying it. It's oily, maybe olive oil or something. It's kind of reminded me of like a bruschetta. Maybe not the tomatoes on there, but maybe something, maybe like a wee bit of red onion, so it's not so oniony, but a little bit sweet, a little bit spicy, and just yeah, bruschetta with like olive oil and sea salt over it. I don't know why that's making me think of that, but it is. I don't think I've ever came up with a tasting note of bruschetta with Kilkerran, but for some reason that's what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm just really craving some bread. The palate. Ugh, it's fantastic. It's just solid. It is. It's just such a great dram. The 8-year-old sherry is good, especially when they brought it in the taller bottle from 2017 or 2019, maybe in 2019 actually. And it was really dirty, but it just works so well in bourbon. I mean, Kilkerran does really well in either, whether it's sherry or bourbon, but for some reason I much prefer it in bourbon. And this is it's just lush. It's like custard slices, that kind of pastry, thick layer custard. It's the mouthfeel. I wish I could. Well, yeah, it's just beautiful. It's great. I'm not buying any whiskey at the moment just because of what I've got. I'm sure I've got a couple of these in the cupboard from previous years that are just sitting there, so I'm glad I've got them, because it's just an example of how good bourbon and peat can be, and even at that age, 8-year-old, yeah, fantastic. We'll actually see what the official tasting notes are, so it can prompt me to some smells and notes. Nose, typically zesty with notes of key lime pie. So maybe that's where my bruschetta is coming from, like the kind of, it's maybe a bit of a stretch, but they're saying pie, the crust, bruschetta, bread, apple jelly. Yeah, I said green apple, honey and vanilla. The vanilla is definitely there. I just thought it'd be a bit too much on the nose, but these flies. The palate, creamy on the palate, 100%. Notes of banoffee pie. Aye, maybe. Vanilla custard. Yeah, it's like I've been reading this. I did say custard slice, like the ones you used to get with Greg's. Donna, you probably don't have Greg's in the US, but I think custard slice, if you just Google it, I think they're pretty, I don't know how universal they are, but just two thin layers of pastry with a big slab of kind of custard in the middle. It's a bit solid. It's not like obviously a runny custard. And panna cotta. Finish is sea salt and brine. Notes emerge along with a gorse note. Yeah, I'd agree with the majority of that. Maybe not the zesty. I'm not really getting key lime pie and the zestiness, but apples for sure, honey and vanilla, creamy in the pie. Yeah, it's just, this has been the 1998 obviously is like hard to compete with, but this is fantastic. It's just fantastic. Just want to give this a little bit of a, yeah, you can tell the peat difference. That's better, way better. We'll move on to the long row, 100 proof. I just realised I've still got like a little bit in the 98 vintage. I must have got sidetracked somehow because obviously the chat's flying. Yeah, the chat's not flying. What do I expect? So yeah, long row, 100 proof. So they started doing this because, if I'm right in thinking, they're kind of running out of aged long row. That's why I'm almost certain they stopped doing the 21. I was actually speaking to Tony about this yesterday, and I'm sure he said the same thing. They're running out of long row. Well, they've stopped long row 18, definitely, and I'm pretty sure they've stopped long row 21, and hence the reason for the 100 proof, because these usually come with an age statement, whether it be 11, 13, 15, and that being the long row red, but they've since obviously stepped away from that because they just can't keep it up. So yeah, we've got 100 proof, 57.1% ABV, matured in bourbon originally, and then Pinot Noir. I am quite fond of the long row red series. Sorry, I'm burping. I've had a few. I've enjoyed the majority of them. So we'll see how this kind of sidestep away from the red series compares. Yeah. Today I'll pick up 5 bottles bought on auction. Nice. Cask strength independent bottles, 20 to 28-year-olds that I bought myself as birthday presents. Happy birthday whenever it was. You'll need to let me know what the bottles were. Yeah, I've not purchased bottles in a while. I think the last one might have been the Scottish Prince, which I got off auction. I think I've only purchased 4 or 5 bottles this year, out with splits, because our Tabes group or split group still do splits. Yeah, it's definitely long roll. I kind of get maybe like Cherry Bakewell, but then the earthiness, the peat, the dirtiness, it just pushes it. It just overshadows it. I'm just trying to make sure this. It feels like every time I lean back, the camera unfocuses, but I don't know if it's just the quality of the stream, or if it is the camera, or if it's my contact lenses. Yeah, like I said, definitely Cherry Bakewell, but the peaty dirtiness takes over. I'm just going to, the peat smoke influence presents in medicinal notes along with red currants. That's a really shoddy nose from them. Basically saying peat and red currants, but in so many words. Oh, they did say medicinal notes. I can get behind the medicinal, like maybe like plasters or something. Not THC, not that kind of Ardbeg peat or Lefroy peat, but maybe something like sterile plasters. I'm still getting a Cherry Bakewell. The palate. Oof, that's strong. And it is no, I was going to say it's the highest one, but it's not. The highest was the heavily peated, but that feels a lot stronger than it is. It's 57.1 ABV. I'm going to add a little bit of water to that. That just feels a bit overpowering. I don't know what age it is. It could be, that's a lot of water. It could be a young element to it. The nose is fine, but the palate just feels very strong. So their palate, softer on the, no way, softer on the palate, more earthy with notes of creme brulee, vanilla and almonds. I am not getting softer on the palate. I'd say the nose is soft. It needs water, and it works really well with water. But there's more tannins with the water. There's that. It's almost like gummy, like not some sort of chewing gum, red fruit chewing gum, maybe like raspberry or strawberry, something gummy. I don't know how to describe it. Bowmore 20, nice. That's these look like some good pickups actually. Milton Duff 25, Linkwood 21, Ben Rinch 28, and Glen Elgin 20, all refill bourbon. Yes. Yeah. I think I would be most excited for the Ben Rinnis and Glen Elgin. Aye, that'll be. I'm jealous. As I sit with my plethora of Springbank, I am jealous. Definitely of the Glen Elgin and the Ben Rinnis. Those could be absolute belters. Yeah, I mean, I like Wood, Milton Duff, Bowmore. I have nothing. I would obviously love to try them, but the Ben Rinnis 28 will probably, and the Glen Elgin, sorry, will probably be up there. This long roll, I don't know. It's all right. It's all right. I wouldn't buy a bottle. I don't think it's anything great. I'm trying to think of the long row reds that I've reviewed on the channel. If any of them I've gave a whiskey bin, maybe one, but I'm not certain. I could be wrong. But some of them have been better than the others. I'm trying to think. Was it the which one was it? The Pinot Noir was okay. Malbec, refill Malbec was pretty good. And then there was the other one that I just, Cabernet. I think it was a Cabernet Sauvignon Blanc. That was fantastic, if my memory serves me right. This is, it's fine. But like I say, does it stand up to the long row reds that I've had previously? Probably not. And I don't want to say that just because it's from what I've heard, that they don't have the age stock. And I don't want that to influence my opinion, but I just don't think it's that good. So yeah, it's a swing and a miss for me on that one. You're welcome, Springbank. Enjoy the feedback. So is that it? I think that is it. We're gonna rate them. I'll go from first to last. The stream has been on for 40 minutes, which isn't too bad. I've not had anybody other than Don or Pass to speak to. Normally these things can take a bit longer, and it's better to have guests so that you've got someone to engage with and have a to and fro. Like I said, this was a bit off the cuff, purely because fiance, she's been a little bit ill, and I've not had time to make a video and edit a video. So yeah, I'm just using excuses. Never had Glen Elgin. 9-year-old Milton Duff, but love Ben Rennis. Always warm tub, and and you can tell. I feel like there is something. Like, don't get me wrong. Like these are, you drink Springbank and the oiliness and that. It's just there's something extra about it when you've got that warm tub experience. But Glen Elgin's an absolutely solid whiskey. I don't think you'll go wrong with that. And like you say, Ben Rennis, I'm a big fan of Ben Rennis as well. Anyway, and Dalyun, maybe not worm tubs. I don't think Dalyun use worm tubs, but they still get that kind of waxy loveliness, oily feel to it. Anyhow, like I said, I'm going to rate these. You probably didn't see the start, but I didn't really enjoy the Hazelburn. I didn't think it was bad. But I didn't enjoy it too much. If anything, I would say the local barley's probably last. The 8-year-old, it's trying to focus on me rather than the ball. The 8-year-old local barley, I'm actually going to put last. Then I would have I think it would have to be the Hazelburn, second last. I don't know if there's a better way to show these. They're so small and dainty. We're going to get the glasses out of the way, except from this one because I've still got a bit of the 1998 in there. So we'll get the glasses out of the way. So Springbank local barley last. Is this going to be right to left? I don't know. This is so terrible. Then the Hazelburn. Then the long. It's actually a tie between the long row and the heavily peated. The heavily peated isn't bad, but it's fine enough. So I'm going to say actually the long row third last, then the heavily peated. And if this 98 wasn't here, this 98 vintage Springbank, it would be easily the 8-year-old bourbon. This is more the gravitas towards it. I mean, it's a great dram, don't get me wrong, but it's just, you can't really compare Kilkerran 8-year-old and a Springbank 27-year-old. I'm pretty sure it's 27-year-old. I keep saying 27 like I'm so confident, but I'm almost certain it is. Because I'm sure it was, bottled, still 1998 and bottled in 2025. So that's my, I don't know, I feel like the camera's really shoddy. I can't wait to watch this back, how terrible the whole experience has been. But anyway, local barley last, Hazelburn second last, then the long row, then the heavily peated, the 8-year-old bourbon, and the 98 vintage first. I'm actually tempted, which I shouldn't be because I've got a couple bottles from previous years in the storage place, but I'm actually tempted to buy a bottle of that because if I can get my hands on it, because it's fantastic. It's just what you want from Kilkerran. I mean, I'd be tempted to buy this 98 vintage if it went on the auction for like 200 quid, but I don't think it will. £200 would be really cheap for it. But it's something else. Like I said, I'm fortunate enough that I get to try these things and be close enough to get these things. I'm guessing this was like £50 for the pack, and I think postage and packaging was £5 or maybe a tenner. It was definitely £50 for the pack. I'm almost certain on that. So I'm not sure how the shipping, postage and packaging would be to the US, but I can imagine it'd be astronomical, which is a little bit unfair, but move to Scotland. Yeah, it's just really good old Springbank. Anyway, that has been the live stream. It's been something. Dogs been barking. There's been deliveries. There's been no real structure to this other than drinking whiskey. No real tasting notes. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. I can't wait to watch the replay because I'm going to look like such a tit. So thanks for watching. I've been Stuart. This has been Whiskey Wins. I'll see you later.